Hi everyone, it's Sinead with Free Tours by London. So, I was taking a little gander around London recently and I decided, you know what, it had been a while and I hadn't been through the Imperial War Museum. And I thought to myself, you guys would absolutely love this place. So, we're going to have a look around some of the weird and wonderful objects inside here. This place is truly special and definitely somewhere that I'm delighted to bring you through. Stay tuned. This is the Imperial War Museum at Lambeth North. Now, the museum itself was established in 1917, and as I said, it was to basically its purpose was to record warfare as seen from the eyes of service personnel, civilians, men and women, rich and poor. It's had 3 different homes. Now, it spent its first 4 years of its life was in Crystal Palace. It had 11 years in South Kensington until it came to its present location here in Lambeth in 1936. Now, the guns you see in front of you were naval guns fired in action during the Second World War. One is from HMS Ramillies and the other is from HMS Resolution. So we're going to have a little look inside, but I mean, immediately when you head in, it's the interior absolutely blows your mind. So immediately you're struck with some incredible exhibits in here, you guys. So this is an example of a German V2 rocket. From September 1944, the Germans deployed the V2 rocket against London and other cities in Europe. A rocket like this one on display struck the nearby Kennington Road, which is very close. We just came down there, Lambeth Road, Crossroads, on the 4th of January 1945. Killing 43 people, folks. Now, above it, just here, you might just make out the Spitfire, folks. Look at that incredible machine. But this fighter plane flew 57 combat missions during the Battle of Britain in 1940, and it was flown by 13 different pilots, only 6 who survived the Second World War. Terrifying to think that that was Piccadilly Circus Underground, ladies and gentlemen, where people took shelter in horrendous raids. And right behind me, and I'm going to show you in a second, is a kind of a recreation of what a house would have looked like inside during World War II. This is quite fascinating. There's a couple of features I want to show you. Here we have a lovely little exhibit on the Blitz, you guys, and it just kind of recreates a home in World War II Britain, and this is to represent what could have been used as a temporary shelter during the bombing raids, ladies and gents. This is inside it here. Look at this. They even had cups of tea and played dominoes. And of course we know the underground and the subways here in London were used as shelters. And the worst night of the bombing of the Blitz was the 29th of December 1940. And of course my colleague Canis does a remarkable tour on that. So let's have a little look inside, hear what they're saying. During the Blitz, over 45,000 tons of bombs were dropped on Britain. These varied in size and impact. Large parachute mines and high explosive bombs cause huge devastation. These are the butterfly bombs. They're on the left-hand side. That's insane. Look at this, you guys, to show you. I mean, their attention to detail is exquisite. Even the picture is lopsided here, and you'll see the bomb damage on the walls. And this is fascinating. So under here, under the table, is a Morrison shelter, and these small indoor all-raid shelters were issued for free to lower income households. So it's said that designed to withstand the upper floor of a house falling in on it, government tests, it proved to be effective. A family of 4 would be expected to sleep under there. And look at this. Just incredibly done with the old wireless in the background. And even at the window, look at this. That's where they show the bomb damage outside and being cleared. Truly, truly special, ladies and gentlemen. How sad is this, yet poignant. I do not know how I could endure your loss. I pray that all and none of us survives this war. British civilian Elizabeth Belsey in a letter to her husband in September 1940. I mean, so this particular exhibit is called Witnesses to War, and all these objects are witnesses to the Second World War. It says each one tells a powerful story about this devastating conflict. By the time the war ended in 1945, an estimated 60 million people had lost their lives. Most were civilians. I mean, it's just incredible to think that number of people. It's hard to even put that into perspective. Okay. So this is the Avro Lancaster bomber cockpit. And we'll have a look at this satellite dish. So this was Wurzburg A radar dish. This radar dish is one of the earliest forms of German radar technology, folks. Look at this. I mean, they've really incredible stuff they have on exhibit here. So we'll see this is actually the cockpit there of the plane. Let's have a look here. 88mm flak 36 gun. It was an anti-aircraft gun, was feared by Allied air tank crews. No wonder it was. Look at it. So we touched on this in the cabinet war rooms of Churchill with regards to the German U-boats, ladies and gentlemen, which were detrimental to the ships and the transatlantic ships trying to get supplies to the Allied forces. But here it was the greatest threat, as it says, to British and Allied ships was from German torpedoes. Their arrival was sudden, unexpected, and very often fatal. Powered by an electronic motor, models like this, the G7E T3 torpedo left no trail in the water. Attack came without warning, and they were fired by the German U-boats, submariners who patrol the oceans in order to hunt down ships. I mean, devastating impact it had on the efforts of the Allied forces. So, I mean, there's so much you can get through in this area. I'm not going to do them all, folks. I'm just going to do some highlights. This is actually quite interesting. This was shelter, or a coffin, it's referred to right here. And this is a one-person console fire watcher shelter. It was designed in 1938. It offered key war protection, workers' protection against bomb blasts and flying debris. Oh my God, it's like something out of Doctor Who, isn't it? It looks like a Humvee, doesn't it? Or a Hummer, is that what you call them? Yes, a Humber, yeah. Maltese Hummer staff car. So British General Bernard Montgomery was one of the most famous faces of the Second World War. He used this Hummer staff car to visit troops fighting in North Africa, Sicily and Italy. He often stood on to it to give morale boosting and pep talks. Wow. Oh my God, this is incredible. Look at this, you guys. Clark Air CA-1 bulldozer, this is called that. American-built bulldozer, was designed to be carried in a gilder, or large cargo aircraft. So this is an M4A4 Sherman tank. Armoured vehicles such as this tank were designed as mobile weapons for their crew. They also served as living quarters. Wow. So this is, I'm assuming, about Normandy on the beaches. Oh yeah, it's a film about the D-Day landings, folks.
The remarkable thing about it was, but one minute we're looking at
They're just celebrating an anniversary there recently as well. They were featured on the news, quite a few of the veterans that have survived. Still a few left, bless them. So this is a kamikaze pilot's dinghy, folks. A Japanese aircraft appeared from the clouds. Let's just see what it says. In the final months of the war, Japanese aircraft regularly flew kamikaze. Literally translates to divine wind. Suicide runs. Pilots, sometimes wearing face masks like the one displayed, deliberately crashed their aircraft stocked with explosives into enemy ships to inflict massive damage. I mean, how in God's name is there any defense from that? These are the masks and the gas masks they would have worn as well. Fascinating. Okay, this caught my eye. It just says there, so this was the German sled and clothing. So when the Germans invaded the Soviet Union, it says in June 1941, they expected a quick victory. But within 6 months, they were caught in the depths of the Russian winter. So they were poorly prepared for the sub-zero temperatures and had to improvise. The Hessian hood provided head protection, while the leather tank helmet is lined with rabbit fur. And there you have it. This current exhibit deals with the troubles in Northern Ireland that spanned over 30 years. It was a complex series of issues, including equality, in whose interest was the country was around an ethnic and national identity. Still remaining a contentious period, so we're just going to take a brief look inside. Now, they're okay about this exhibit, but they do request that we do not film any of the Victoria Cross medals exhibit, which is on the top floor, or in the Holocaust, which is completely understandable. Now, usually I don't obey the rules, but with respect and dignity, I certainly will not be attempting to film inside there. So the exhibit gives you, perspectives from both sides of the divide, ladies and gents. From the loyalist and civilian side, this is probably the most poignant. These are the deaths during the Troubles. Civilians, British security, Republican paramilitaries and loyalist paramilitaries. What's most significant here is more security forces and civilians are killed during the Troubles than either side of the paramilitaries, whether they be Republican or loyalist. Just remarkable. So in this note from the curator, she says, listen to the voices of people who lived in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. Hear how they experienced events and viewed each other.
I'm very worried about the future because of what is in government. Very worried about it. They want to eradicate anything race and humanness. They don't want us here. They want Ireland to be an island of niceness.
We don't trust each other, not at peace with each other. This doesn't feel like a peaceful country. Certainly anywhere where there are areas that it will be a problem to take down the walls, those are exactly the areas we should be targeting and working with to bring the local community to a place where the walls can be removed safely though.
How long are we going to be fighting to be who we are?
Look at this. So a Belfast-born artist by the name of John Kindness completed this piece called Sectarian Armour. I love this. And it highlighted the absurdities of the divisions of the people of Northern Ireland that have plagued Northern Ireland for 25 years. The steel jacket is decorated with icons from both communities, so symbol of those who feel loyal to Britain on the left, including the British Bulldog, and who feel loyal to Ireland on the right, and you'll see the pig, of course famous for its pig and dairy farming. And on the back, a Republican funeral is joined to a loyalist one by a single seam. Let's have a look at this. Look how amazing that is. Oh wow. So you have a Republican and a loyalist funeral joined together by a single seam. That's a powerful, powerful piece. Love that. There's an iconic image, ladies and gents, of Mark McGuinness of Sinn Féin and the Reverend Ian Paisley of the Ulster Unionist Party. Myself and Rob were doing some very bad impressions of both of them a second ago, but we won't indulge you in that. But key figures during the Troubles, and actually, I believe remained close friends up to the end. Years later, differences put aside, divided by religion, yet but friends in real life. Amazing. So in 1945, the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were destroyed by 2 atomic bombs. Their devastation revealed the creation of a weapon of such unparalleled destructive power that its very existence has dominated the world ever since. That's an actual nuclear weapon. It's just fascinating. Now I want to show you what looked like the devastation of a nuclear weapon here. So this is an artist's expression of a nuclear attack. It's called The Beach Girl, and it's a disturbing sculpture that was done in 1966, and it's a disfigured mannequin. It's a shop mannequin, actually, a shop window mannequin, and it shows you the single burnt and broken body to represent the catastrophic consequences of a nuclear bomb. This is what was called an escape suit, so a nuclear submarine. If any of the crew members had to escape, they were decked out in this particular suit. This is actually quite interesting. This suit was left behind in a pub after a fancy dress party. This is a little exhibit on the Iraqi war, ladies and gentlemen, and a tiled picture there of Saddam Hussein, United Nations tank. This is fascinating, folks. This came from the World Trade Center. So, of course, none of us need to be reminded of September 11th and 9/11, but this street window frame was lifted from the wreckage of the North Tower, and the burnt and twisted metal you see there still graphically expresses the sickening violence that destroyed the buildings. It's an incredible time, devastating for New York City, and I was in New York at the time as well. It was just something I will never forget. You can see Rob has joined us, my lovelies. He's came for a couple of hours, so I just wanted to draw your attention to this. Now, this was actually a witness stand, and it was from the trial of 2 Libyans which were accused of the killing 270 people in the Lockerbie bombing. In 1988, on the 21st of December, the bombing of an American airline over Scotland killed all 259 on board, and the wreckage hit the town, killing 11 more. And 2 Libyans were accused of the attack. And in 2000 stood trial in the Netherlands under Scottish law. Abdelbasset El Magri, apologies for the pronunciation, was found guilty and sentenced to life. Now, ladies and gents, the First World War. So these galleries were about the First World War, the Great War.
1914, a Serbian-backed terrorist murders the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. 1 month later, Austria-Hungary, with German encouragement, declares war on Serbia. Other powers intervene, taking sides against each other. Russia decides to stand up for the Serbs. Germany backs its only reliable ally, Austria-Hungary. These powers are willing to risk war to defend or extend their own national interests. Leaders prepare their armies. At 11 p.m. on the 4th of August 1914, Britain, with its vast global empire, declares war on Germany. Armies across continental Europe have already marched off to war.
Much more eloquently put than me. So even if you weren't versed on all world wars or any of the wars, it's an incredible way to educate yourself, ladies and gentlemen. They have done it in such an incredible way. They deal with all the different phases of war, and it really highlights the sacrifice these men made. Look at that, it's incredible. Wow. It's just so much powerful imagery here. And if war was once a chivalrous duel, it is now a dastardly slaughter. God almighty. Just exceptional. So please make sure you keep this on your list, ladies and gentlemen. Now, obviously you would spend hours in here reading all the different exhibits. Britons Need You. That's that iconic
Lord
poster.
Kitchener.
Lord Kitchener, of course, yeah.
The Boer Wars.
And also, there was a recruits he put out, wasn't it? He put out requests for something like in the region of 20,000 troops, I believe. And 700,000 signed up that year. But of course, it was a lot of economic depression too. Some people perceived it as kind of a job with good pensions and benefits for their families, to feed their families. But it just showed.
Was so successful that the US Army used it in World War II.
Oh, that's right.
But they changed Kitchener into Uncle Sam.
That's right.
And the Soviets used it with Mother Russia.
Oh.
And it's been used by many different countries over the years, different figures on the poster.
Look at this, it's incredible. Come along, boys. Look at this, the advertising to join the army. Or Kitchener. The army was unprepared for the stampede of volunteers wanting to fight for king and country. Fantastic. Wow. How thin are you? How good are your teeth? Are you tall enough? Wow, so this looks like these were the procedures that were taken to see if you were fit for service.
Yeah. Towards the end, they just took it.
Actually, I just read before we came in here that after the D-Day landings and the Normandy beaches, that they were so short on supplies, the British Army came back here to the Imperial War Museum and took back 9 of the exhibits that they used.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So what is this? So the British, my eyesight, sniper robe was hand-painted by a sniper to help him blend into his lair. Oh yeah, okay. Wow. So these are some of the wire cutters and the rifles that were used in the Battle of the Somme, ladies and gents. An incredible memorial to them in the Hyde Park corner. The Battle of the Somme one, Rob, is that the one with the fallen soldier? Was it the first in Hyde Park corner? So it was the first, we'll get a photo of it anyway to attach it, folks. It was the first war memorial in London, which is quite shocking to show a Christ-like figure of a soldier and a fallen soldier. Am I right in saying that 40,000 in one day died at the Battle of Somme, I believe? I mean, the casualties for that were astronomical. I mean, it just beggars belief. It really does. So this one, folks, is about the women as well, of course, very important part of both wars. But it says here on the plaque, the sight of so many women wearing practical trousers and overalls was quite new. This is the uniform with gaiters of a female van driver for the Midland Railway. That's the one with the MR on it. The The hat and bag next to it were part of the uniform for the first women tram conductors in Britain. How amazing. They were employed by the Glasgow Tram Company, and like office workers, many of the women on the railway, trams and buses were working class. The blue overall protected clothing from ink stains and was worn by female typists working at the War Office. Check out our Cabinet War Rooms of Churchill video, folks. And the pale khaki hat here and over with the badge on the left lapel was worn by the Women's Land Army. And finally, the khaki hat with the WAAC was worn by the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, established in 1917. Okay guys, let's see what's around here. Oh my god, look at this. I've never been in here. The experience of trench warfare is impossible to recreate, but in the space you are about to enter, we have tried to give you a sense of the confinement and the exposure to the elements that millions of men endured. The dimensions are those of a typical communication trench, which was used to take goods and troops to and from the front line. You will see silhouettes of soldiers engaged in day-to-day trench activity. You may also hear a thunderstorm, a plane flying over, a tank engine starting up, and the flurry of activity caused by a gas attack. This is crazy. Oh my god, you can actually feel it in the walls as well, folks. It feels so... Wow. So you get to peek through. No, you don't. I thought that was a little... Oh my god, how... Look at this. Soldiers beside you. So it's so intimidating. It's really bizarre. Oh my god, this is really creepy. Look at the barbed wire, folks. Incredible to immerse yourself in the middle of this. Really feel part of it. Now, obviously there's so much more to it, ladies and gents, but I just love you to have got some sort of the atmosphere of this incredible museum, one of many, many available to us in London. But please take time to visit the Imperial War Museum, totally free of charge. It is recommended that you just make a little donation on the way out, which I have every intention of doing. It has been an incredible day. I hope you enjoyed it as much as me. Thanks for joining me and Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, Sinead signing out here with Free Tours by FTBFLondon. Obviously so much more that you can see in here, but that's it for today. Thanks for watching, you guys. See you very soon with some other amazing venues coming up. Thanks for watching. Bye.